Welcome to Aliyah Yomi in our Language of the Prophets series. This is the fourth Aliyah from Torah portion Tol'dot. I'm not really sure what happened. I recorded this one the other day. I uploaded it. I thought I did. I don't see it on YouTube. I can't find it on my computer. I don't know if I saved over one of the other Aliyahs, or something with the wrong name. But maybe it's Hashem. Maybe he didn't like something I had to say there. So let's do this again, and I'll go probably fairly quickly. I just want to fill in the gaps. Okay, so the fourth Aliyah, it's Breshit, chapter 26, verse 23 through verse 29. Kaf Gimel, that's verse 23. Vayal misham be'er shava. So Allah is the verb here. There's a hey at the end that disappears. So ayin lamed hey. Allah is to go up. In modern Hebrew, a ma'alit is an elevator, something that brings you up. And ole is an immigrant, right? One who goes up to Jerusalem, presumably. Yeah. So, and to make aliyah, which is a going up, if you're in the synagogue, to make aliyah means, well, right now we're reading an aliyah. It means you go to the Torah scroll, and either you read from the scroll, or you just say the brachot, and the Baal Koreh reads from the scroll itself. But if you do aliyah in the modern Hebrew legal sense, it means to immigrate. And aliyah is a going up. Conversely, yarad is if you're going down to be an OFW worker, like an overseas worker, and it's seen as a negative. You're going down. You're leaving this most holy place in the world, which is the land of Israel. So then he went up Misham from there, Be'er Shava, presumably towards Be'er Shava, even though we don't have the hey locative that we would have expected here. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's probably clarifying what is Sham. Sham is Be'er Shava, like in a positive. And the Rashbam comments that he was still afraid of them, as is proved by Hashem's telling him, fear not. Right? So verse Kaf Dalet, 24. Vayera elai Adonai balayla hahu. So this is kind of hard to recognize. It's another lamed hey verb. So there's a hey at the end there. Resh, aleph, hey. Ra'ah, to see. But this is the nifal binyan. Again, hard to recognize. Because nifal, usually what happens is you have a preformative noon. Hence it's called nifal, right? Pa'al is like to do or to make. It's the model in the paradigm for doing verbs. And then you would put a noon in front of the verb, right? So we have our verb resh, aleph, hey. Again, the hey disappeared because lamed hey verb. But what happens is the noon, this is supposed to be a noon, despite my handwriting. Oi. It's not a kaf, it's a noon. So in ancient times, you might have had a form vayinra, right? And the noon would try to assimilate into the next letter, causing a dagesh to be there, but resh can't take a dagesh, so the chirek, short vowel, lengthens to tzere. So this is nifal, so it's passive to be seen. So, and was seen, in other words, appeared. Elav, and then the subject is Adonai, that's the subject of this verb. So then Adonai appeared alive unto him, knowing your pronominal suffixes. When? Valayla hahu, in that night, literally in the night, that one. Vayomer, and he said, Anochi Elohei Avraham Avicha, I am the God of Abraham, your father. And here we have a nice construct chain. Elohei Avraham. Right? And since Avraham is definite, he's not any old person, he has a name, Avraham, we have to put the on the other elements in the construct chain. In this case, just one. So the God of Abraham, Avicha, your father. Al tira, do not fear, ki itecha anochi, for with you I am. Remember, you think I could, for with you I am. Yes. Right? That's normal in biblical Hebrew. Uvrachticha, l'chil beiti et zal'acha, ba'avur Avraham avdi. And I will bless cha, you. So it looks like it said, I blessed you, but we have our vav conversive, the vav at the beginning, which changes the time around, right? You might be wondering, why is it an u instead of a normal vav, right? So it's the same letter from the alphabet. What happens is, when vav tries to connect in front of a labial letter, from the Latin labi, meaning lips, a letter that you make with your lips, b, v, m, p, f, right? Any of those letters that you have to use your lips to make the sound with, it becomes u. Some of you might have learned it as bump, the bump rule, right? So if you have a b, m, or p letter, you make it a u for the word bump. It's a useful mnemonic. So berachti cha would mean I blessed cha, you. But u ve'achticha means and I will bless you. The hirbeiti, and I will make you rav, right? Numerous. What will I make numerous? Et zaracha, your zera. But avur, on account of or because of, and like I've said before, for those of you who know classical Greek or Koine Greek, this is like the postpositive day. Avraham Avdi, on the count of or because of Abraham Avdi, my servant. Okay, and then we have verse Kaf Hey 25. Vayiven sham mizbeach vayikra b'shem Adonai vayet sham oholo. Okay, then this is the verb bane, right? So there would have been a hey at the end. Again, you should be used to this by now, even if you didn't know it before you started our Aliyah Yomi series. Hey disappears when it's at the end, oftentimes. So then, another vav conversive, then he built sham there, a mizbeach. So even if you don't know this word, if you know the verb zavach, to sacrifice, or a zevach, which is a sacrifice, the mem, oftentimes you form nouns with a mem, which are either the agents doing the verb or something that is used in the action of that verb, right? So if zavach is a sacrifice, then a mizbeach is something used in sacrifice, okay? It's not the sacrifice itself, because that word is already zevach. Pardon me, zavach. Wait, zavach is a sacrifice. Mizbeach is an altar, right? It's the instrument used. And he called in the name of Adonai. Vayet sham ohalo. And this is harder to recognize, he stretched out, or he inclined, sham there, oholo, his ohel, his tent. Vaychu sham avdei Yitzchak be'er. And the, hold on, where was I? Vaychu sham avdei Yitzchak be'er. Okay, so the subject is avdei Yitzchak, and I should make that blue, that's a construct chain that's happening there. Oops. And so Yitzchak is a proper noun, so it's not any old person, it's Yitzchak, and so we have to say the servants of Isaac, or the servants of Yitzchak. They yichru sham. So this word is a little bit hard to recognize because, again, it's a lamed hey verb, hey at the end, kara, which is to dig. For they dug, sham there, a be'er, a well. Okay? All right. Verse Kaf Vav, which is 26. V'Avimelech halach elav migra v'achuzat mere'ehu u'tichol sal tzeva'o. Okay, this is kind of hard. There's a weird word here, which is confusing. The Targums have the answer, and Avimelech halach went alive unto him migrar, from Gerar. I'm not sure why it was important to tell us that Avimelech left Gerar to go over there, but there might be some little tidbit there if anybody wants to investigate that, like why the Torah. Remember, the Torah never gives us extra information. It gives us what we need, right? What it wants us to know. And so if there's something that seems like superfluous or extra or something, then there's usually a nugget there. There's some kind of gem there that's worth investigating. So those of you doing your own Dvar Torahs, you might want to dig down in that and share with the rest of us if you find something interesting. Please post it in the comments or let me know. So Targum Onkelos actually translates this next word coming up interestingly. The achuzat merehu. This is kind of strange. So achuzah would be like, a property that is seized or something like this, and so this would make it construct the achuzat of from mere'ehu, which is kind of weird. You wouldn't say usually a construct form here and then have mem on the absolute form. So it's kind of weird. So looking to the Targum actually helps us a little bit, and it turns out Rashi, quoting Targum Onkelos, says that achuzat is not a shame, it's not a name, but it's a milel, it's a word, a davar. And that the ath ending does not imply that it is in the construct like I was mentioning. And he gives some similar examples, right? So really what it turns out is that in the Aramaic, in the Targum, this achuzat is like a counselor, right? Which makes sense. A counselor, someone giving advice, re'ehu, from his fellows. may. So this was mean, right? The nun tried to assimilate into the resh, he couldn't, so he came over here and made this short vowel tirik into a long vowel tseri, merehu, from his ro'eh, fellows. Ufichol, and Fichol, that's a name, the Sar of Tzava'o, the Sar of his army. The Rashbam understands Achuzat to actually be the name of the counselor, so it also works. The point is, this is not a Hebrew word here. Kimchi also thinks that this is the name of the counselor, and that flows kind of nice. Achuzat, from his fellows, right? So, all right, let's continue on. And I apologize if the speed is too fast. I'm just trying to knock this out again for the second time. So if you can always slow it down, you can control the speed that YouTube plays things back. Feel free to do that, please. It doesn't distort the voice. This is very useful when learning foreign languages or listening to audio in other languages. You can slow it down and you can get about more sizable. Even myself, when I listen to, like, there's a Hebrew audio Bible that I like. Sometimes I'll listen to it when I go for walks, and I usually put it at 0.75, right, so that I can hear and understand all the words clearly. And sometimes it goes full blast, but sometimes 0.75. So don't be embarrassed if you need to slow it down. The point is to hear and understand. Faith comes from hearing, Diva. Okay, verse Kaf Zayin, that's 27. In 27 we have Vayomer Alehem Yitzchak Madua Batem Elai. So remember, they kicked him out of Gerar, right? They shoved him out of there. So then Yitzchak, the subject's way over here. You got to look for it. Here's the subject of the verb. Sorry, I drew over the vowels. So then Yitzchak said to them, Madua, why batem? Have you You all bad. Why'd you come? Bah. No, they're not. It's not showing the sheep. Why'd you come, Eli, unto me? Vatem, and you guys, sanetem, hate ot me. Remember, I've been talking about verbs that have to do with knowledge or emotions or these sorts of things, like state of being. You can put them in the perfect, which people think is always the past, and that expresses it assumes nothing's changed and it's still the current state. So, sanetem means you hated, but clearly he's saying you hate me. He's not saying you hated before and now you love me, right? Just like David HaMelech, he says in Tehillim, he says, Ki saneti kol po'elei avin, for I hated all doers of iniquity. He's not saying hated and now I love them. He's saying I hate, right? I hate. Sanetem oti, you hate me. V'tashlachuni, and you expelled me, me'itachem, from with you. Okay, verse Kaf Chet, which is 28. Vayomru ra'u ra'inu ki haya Adonai imach, v'nomer tehina Allah benotenu benenu uvenecha. Okay, end of clause marker. So this is their response now. Then they said, Ra'o ra'inu. Okay, so ra'o, this is an infinitive absolute, which you take a verbal form and you put it in infinitive absolute. Before the other word, if you want to say, like, you're emphasizing the fact. Like, usually this comes across in English as we definitely did, right? So, you can see, like, Shomer Tishmor, you shall indeed safeguard it, Yom HaShabbat, the Sabbath day, and safeguard it, right? If you swap the orders, it can mean in syntax something different. If it said Ra'inu, Ra'o, it's usually like, we continuously saw, right? So it's still emphasized, but there's the aspect switches a little bit, right? It's more about something about time, right? If that makes sense? Okay. So they said, we have indeed seen Ra'inu, right? This is from Ra'ah. Both these are from Ra'ah. Lamed Hey verb, so the Hey fell away, right? Okay. Ki, that Haya Adonai, the Adonai was imach, with you. Vanomer, so we said, Tehi na Allah, let there be now an Allah, which is, this can mean oath or curse. In context it means oath. An oath. Beinotenu, between us. Beinenu, between us. Uvenechem, between you. Okay? And, hold on, where are we at? Okay, that's our end of clause marker there. And I think I should probably point out that in English, you don't have to say the Benin twice, right? You can just say it once. Okay? And he uses a little bit of an odd word, this benotenu here. This isn't usually what you would expect. You usually just expect benenu, right? Okay? No, Okay, let's continue on. V'nichrata v'rit imach. So let us cut a covenant with you. It's just idiomatic how you say, let us make a covenant with you. Okay, the Rashi comments that they're really saying like we see plainly, right? And he's saying that the fact that they use the infinite absolute is saying, we noticed this with your Av, with your father, and now we've noticed it also with you. So let's make a sworn treaty between our two sides, right? So the idea is like, let's extend the treaty that was done with your father also to be with you as well, right? So this isn't like a new and novel thing that they're trying to get out there, you know? And yeah, and actually this benoteno, it's something more like between our parties, right? Between our two parties, between us and between you, right? So it's interesting that they say this. It's almost like they're excluding anyone else, right? They want to be the ones on the good side. Yeah, and Kizkuni, he has an interesting comment about their mindset, about the we see plainly, or we have indeed seen, the Ra'o, Ra'inu. He points out that what they're alluding to is that the Me'at Sha'arim, right? We saw the Me'at Sha'arim, right? The hundredfold when you lived here, and we noticed that it stopped happening when you left, right? So that's kind of the beauty of what they're saying. So it's clear that you are blessed by Hashem. Okay, verse Kaftet 29. Im ta'aseh imanu kashelo neganucha v'chasher asinu imecha rak tov v'neshalechacha b'shalom. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so let's keep going here. Looking at 29. If you will make with us as a fellow, kashir who they shall not touch you, then no fellow will touch you, no one will touch you. Naga usually implies some kind of harm coming, right? We even get nogea from this, which is like a blight, or it can be even a disease, depending on context, those sorts of things. The chasher, and according to how asinu, we will do imecha with you, only good. Now we will send you out with peace, or in peace. Ata baruch Adonai. You now bless Adonai. Right? Very interesting. Yes. It could also mean are blessed, but it's probably more like bless Adonai, right? So they're like even agreeing, or even saying like, we realize that your God, Yod-He, Waw-He, is the one true God. Again, you can see this as, they could be saying bless Adonai, or you are blessed of Adonai. Probably it's you are blessed of Adonai, right? Because you now are, you have to put R in English to make things make sense sometimes in Hebrew. Baruch Adonai, blessed of Adonai, right? Notice it doesn't have to say nivrach, right? You don't have to put it in the nifal. Some call words, they behave this way, sometimes transitively and sometimes intransitively. Okay? Okay, so please put your comments or questions down below, and I will do my best to respond to them. Bli neder.